Hi, my name's Ian Clifford from Make It in Music, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up the first email in your Aweber welcome sequence. In the last video, Steve showed you how to build your squeeze page and how to collect emails of your potential fans. So in this next video, I'm going to show you how you can use the Aweber autoresponder software to welcome your fans to your mailing list, and how down the line you will want to add a number of further emails to that sequence to deepen your relationship with them, send them more music, and at some point ask them to buy your music. So firstly, I'm going to move over to the Aweber account and show you how we set up those follow-on emails. I've logged back into the Aweber account that we set up in an earlier video, and as I said before, we're going to use this part of the message system legacy follow-up series. So I'm going to click through to there. And because this is the first time that I've prepared any follow-up messages, which I previously referred to as a welcome sequence, I have the option of using one of three methods: the drag and drop email builder, plain text message, or HTML editor. Lots of people will be tempted to use the HTML editor and to make a fancy looking email with graphics and images and a header. We don't recommend that. We recommend making your emails to your fans look as though you're writing to them personally, and in your personal email, obviously you send plain text emails. Now, that means using either this option, the plain text message, or the drag and drop email builder. The plain text message is fine, and it is exactly what it says, but we actually use the drag and drop email builder, which is a basic editor and can be used to add some functionality, but we use it simply to make plain text emails. So I click through to that, and here we are on the edit screen. So this area here is going to be the content of the first email that your fans will receive. Obviously, they've received an email when they signed up asking them to confirm that they wanted to be on your mailing list, which was the one that Steve showed you, where they clicked on it and they went to the download page to get the free music that you'd offered them. But this is the first email they will receive from you after that, and the follow-up sequence allows you to automate delivery of this email and future emails. So all we've got to do here is put some text in for that first email. I've prepared that over here, and I'll go through this with you in a second, but for now I'm just going to pick the whole thing up and copy it. I'm going to go back here and drop it in the text area. Now this will take a little bit of fixing, which I'm going to do in a second, but before I do that, I'm going to just set the whole thing to 14 point, which is just a size I like. I find it's too small in the original format that Aweber automatically defaults to, which I think is 11 or 12 point. So I prepared something to use as subject line, so I'm going to take that, and that's just the subject line that our brand new person who signed up, our brand new potential fan, that's the subject line that they're going to see when they receive this first email. Now I'm just going to tidy this up, because the way I've cut and pasted it, it's left it with a bunch of line breaks that don't look any good. So I'm just going to pause while I do that. Okay, so I've done that now. You'll see that what I've done here is I've just broken this up into short sentences with plenty of white space, just so that for your new potential fan, this email is much easier to read. Now I'm just going to walk you through most of the content in this email. Some of it's really obvious. The point of this email is to welcome your fan. Okay, they had the first automated email from the Aweber sequence where they clicked and went and downloaded your music. And this one, you're going to see in a second, will be sent immediately after that. And it's really to serve as a reminder, but it's also a place where you can give them a little bit of an introduction to your band and your music. What you've got to imagine is that they've found your squeeze page or your website, they've signed up to your list, and you've got an opportunity, your first opportunity, to tell them a little bit more about you and to start to try and build some kind of beginning of a long-term relationship. So I tell them my name, tell them what I do in the band, I say thank you for downloading the music, and then what I'd like you to do here is write a couple of sentences about the songs and about the band. Then I say that I really hope that they like the music. And then here we get into the reminder section where we say, yeah, you should have already downloaded them, but if you haven't, this is where you can find them. It explains how they can unzip the zip file if they don't know how to do it. And then this line here is if you missed it or if you need to download the music again, you can do that here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to turn that into a hyperlink inside Aweber. So here is the confirmation page that both Steve and I used before. So I'm going to cut that again. I'm going to delete that. That's a little bit of a reminder just so that that's the place where I knew I was going to need that. And this first place where I'm going to use it, I'm actually just going to paste that back in, highlight it, go up to here where you see the link symbol. I'm going to paste that in there as well. Now this has turned into a link. Now the reason I've left that as the full URL is some people, despite you having made it a link, will actually copy that, or they might even type in the whole URL. So it's a really good idea, at least once in your first email, to give people the actual URL of the link where your download page is, rather than just doing a click here, which I'm also going to show you in a second. So then scroll down a little bit further. I tell them that they should be expecting some more emails from us in the next few days, and also that we'll be emailing them whenever we have any news. I say that it would be great to hear from them and they can give us some feedback on the music, or they can just send us an email and say hi, and that we will reply to anything that we get. And this is the email address which I showed you how to set up in another video earlier on. Okay, so once again we've got another section here where they can click to go to that download page again. I've still got that URL, so I'm just going to go click here, go back up to here, and this time I am making the words click here into the clickable link. So it's always a good idea to put at least 2, even 3 links to the same destination in every email that you send. And one of them should be the URL itself, and one can be click here or whatever other text you want to highlight and turn into a link. So I've created an email that welcomes them to our mailing list. I've told them a little bit about the band, and I've given them a reminder link in case they didn't manage to get the music that we offered them in the first place. So I'm just going to click save, and then the critical thing that you want to do is preview and test every email before you put them into your sequence, or indeed later on before you send a broadcast. So go up here, click preview and test. I'm going to type in the address that I'm going to send my test email to. And personalize Ian. Now that personalize bit is, you'll remember that when we set up the original email, we had the option of personalizing the content of the email, and we could use first name fix from a drop down. I will just show you that again, because I'd actually put that into my text that I copied over. But what you can do, wherever you're in the body of an email here, you just click over here to personalize, and you put first name fix, and you take it from that drop down. So you do that, clicks in, but I'm going to delete that because I'd already put it in. But that's how you do that. So save again, going back to my preview and test. So that's now going to replace first name fix with my name, send the test. Then I'm going to go over here to the email, and there we can see it coming in. And I'm just going to check that everything that I've put into this works. So obviously I've got a bit of stuff in the square brackets there where you would need to write something in yours, but fundamentally what we're just going to check is that the layout looks good and that the 2 links I've put in work. So I'll check each of the links, and there's Steve's download page, and check this one here, and there it is again. So that's simply just to check that the links that you've put in, and you might want to check it for spelling mistakes and things like that, but basically you're just checking that the email you've made in Aweber is going to work properly and that the links function. Okay, so once I've done that, I then press save and exit, and now I've got that in my drafts. So I've got to go to here and I've got to add it to my follow-up series. Aweber will automatically take you back to drafts when you've saved and exited your draft emails, whether you're doing them for this or later on for broadcasts. So I click Add to Follow-up Series, and Aweber tells us that that will be sent immediately. And now it will take us to our follow-up series that we've created. So here's that email. That's our first follow-up that people will get. It tells us that that will be sent immediately when people have signed up to your mailing list. They'll get sent this straight after they've clicked on the confirmation. So they'll get that confirmation email, they'll go to the download page, but at the same time this first email in the sequence will be sent to them and they'll find this in their inbox. Now what you can then do is create more messages here using the drag and drop email builder, or you can go back to drafts and create them in there. And then as you do that, you can add them to the follow-up series. So you do things like writing a couple of emails, giving a bit more in-depth information on the band, and maybe sending people to links on YouTube, or maybe sending them some other tracks they can download or some other context, all as part of your welcome sequence. And the idea is that you write a series of emails for that over a course of a couple of weeks straight after they've signed up, that will deepen your relationship with them and tell them more about you and your music. And as you add each of those emails to this follow-up series, you will get the option to set the amount of time between the messages. So the way it works is as follows. Somebody signs up to your mailing list. They will get the first email, which will ask them to confirm. That's the one that Steve showed you. They'll go to your download page and they will download your music. At the same time, this email will get sent to them immediately, giving them the reminder of where they can get that music and starting off the relationship between you and your music and them. Then you write a series of other emails, which you do in Aweber, and you add them to this sequence, and you can set the number of days apart. So I would suggest sending another email 2 or 3 days later. Some people will say the next day. I would advise against leaving it a week. So either the next day or a couple of days, telling them something else about the band and giving them something else, a link to YouTube, a link to your Spotify, or a link to some more music. And then you write another email and you put that into the sequence, and again for another few days later. And the beauty of this is that all of the people who sign up to your mailing list will now be receiving these emails automatically. And of course, you can contact them directly, and you can send them what's called a broadcast, which you'll find up here, which simply goes to all the people on your mailing list, and you can send those at any time. But for everyone new who joins, they will get these automated emails in order at the rate at which you set them in Aweber. And that's why this entire system of having what we call the squeeze page and building a fan mailing list and using Aweber to send them an automated welcome sequence is so powerful. So that's it. We're done. You've built the entire thing. Now go off and find some fans and start building your fan base.